Chapter 1. The Omega I bought was too hot and way too eager. The underground auction reeked of desperation and overpriced pheromones. Gilded lights flickered dimly over a stage lined with velvet curtains and illegal fantasies. Kieran Vale Rosethorn, the infamous cold alpha heir of Rosethorn corporates, stood at the back in a black suit, arms crossed and eyebrows furrowed in pure disgust. "I can't believe this shit still exists," he muttered under his breath, fingers twitching toward the hidden recorder inside his coat. The plan was simple. Infiltrate the Omega trafficking auction, collect video evidence, and have his legal team shred these bastards in court. What wasn't in the plan was Kieran getting accidentally registered as a VIP bidder. "Lot #13, the announcer boomed, is a rare, delicate beauty, unbonded, virgin, obedient, scent tested and verified as a premium-grade Omega." Kieran's sharp gaze snapped up to the stage and immediately widened. The Omega standing under the spotlight wasn't trembling or tearful like the rest. No, he was tall, graceful, with silky black hair tied at the nape, flawless pale skin, and molten gold eyes that sparkled with amusement. He tilted his head with a slow smile, like a prince waiting for his favorite toy. Kieran's instincts flared. "Wait, he's looking directly at me. Wait, why is he sold to the Rosethorn heir in the back?" The crowd erupted into applause as Kieran's jaw dropped. He hadn't said a word. How the hell? Before he could argue, the auction staff was congratulating him and pushing papers into his hands. "Congratulations, sir, on winning the most sought-after Omega tonight. I didn't even... Rafa is yours now. Do enjoy your bonding." And just like that, Kieran found himself stuck with a gorgeous, way too confident Omega who strolled up to him like a cat about to curl into a sunbeam. "Mate," the Omega breathed, stepping closer, eyes dreamy and shimmering. "You came for me after all." Kieran took one step back. "I did not buy a living, breathing stalker with puppy eyes. Private jet of doom." That night, Kieran tried to send Rafa off to a recovery clinic and demanded his lawyers get him out of this mess. He even tried to bribe the Omega with a black card. Instead, he woke up groggy, strapped to a luxury leather seat inside a private jet, midair. He blinked against the soft glow of chandelier lighting, a champagne flute tucked into a holder beside him, and a warm, oh too familiar scent flooding the cabin. Sitting across from him was Raphael Draven Noir, now fully out of his Omega cosplay. He wore a custom black suit, his long hair loose around his shoulders, eyes glowing gold under the cabin lights like some wild predator finally done pretending. Kieran jolted. "What? Where the hell am I?" Raphael smirked, swirling his wine. "You know, I always imagined you'd be this dramatic when I kidnapped you." "You what?" Raphael stood and walked toward him, every step smooth and dangerous. He knelt beside Kieran's seat, reached out, and brushed a gloved hand along his jaw. "As you have always known me, darling. But still, I'll say it again. I'm Raphael Draven Noir. And you've always been mine. You just didn't know it." Flashback montage. Cue dramatic orchestral music and black and white memory-style visuals. 6 years ago, Raphael was just a rising enigma in the mafia world, ruthless and ambitious. One night during a gala in Shanghai, someone tried to assassinate him in a back alley. He bled out behind the curtains, until a stranger found him, pressed his jacket to the wound, and stayed by his side till help arrived. That stranger was Kieran Vale Rosethorn, young, arrogant, annoyed but unable to walk past someone in pain. He called for help, growled at Raphael for being reckless, and then walked away like nothing happened. To Kieran, it was a throwaway moment. To Raphael, it was everything. From that moment on, Raphael became obsessed. He learned everything. Kieran's routines, favorite foods, which coffee brand he liked, what books he read at night, how he secretly visited animal shelters every Sunday. He watched from afar, always craving, never crossing the line. Until he realized that Kieran was lonely. Kieran rejected all suitors, dodged dates, scoffed at love, but Raphael saw through it. He wasn't heartless, he was scared, scared of commitment, scared of getting attached. So Raphael made a decision. If he won't come to me, I'll go to him, in disguise. He trained his scent, hired surgeons to soften his features, practiced the perfect Omega submissive walk, created a fake background, then had his own name added to the next black market auction Kieran was known to monitor. Everything, every single step was Raphael's orchestration. Just so I could finally be close to you. Back to the present. Kieran stared, utterly horrified. You had your face cut just to pretend to be an Omega? I had everything restructured, for you. You psycho. I love you. I'm going to sue you. I've already married you in 6 different countries. Kieran screamed in frustration, tugging at the restraints. Let me go right now. Raphael leaned down and whispered, breath warm on Kieran's ear. No, because I know the truth. Just like I love you. You love me too. You're just too scared to admit it. So I'll give you no choice. You'll stay, and you'll love me. You already do. Kieran choked on air. The hell I do. But Raphael had already sat back down and handed him a drink. You'll be home soon, sweetheart. I had the nursery painted the way you like it. Nursery? Oh, right. We'll get to that part later. Chapter 2. Bonded, married, trapped in a mansion. The private jet landed at a sleek private airstrip built on an island no map dared to label. The air was warm, the sky golden, and the manicured runway was lined with white roses, Kieran's favorite. Coincidence? Not a chance. Welcome home, Mr. and Mr. Noir, a uniformed staff greeted as the jet stairs unfolded. Kieran Vale. Rosethorn tried to leap out before Raphael could even unbuckle. He dashed down the steps, heels clicking, fury blazing in his eyes, only to be gently caught by a net of guards and a very excited golden retriever, an actual one, named Prince Snugglebottoms III. Nope, I am not staying here, Kieran shouted, flailing in the arms of a very apologetic butler. Raphael, descending like a calm mafia prince, sighed. He's shy, he told the staff. Don't worry, I'll handle him. Raphael personally scooped up his flailing alpha like a sack of hissing cats and carried him bridal style all the way through marble halls, past fountains carved with cherubs that suspiciously resembled Kieran's face, and into a mansion so luxurious it looked like a Bond villain's honeymoon suite. The mansion of madness and marriage. Once inside, Kieran realized 2 things. 1. He wasn't a guest. 2. He was already legally Raphael's spouse. A discreet marriage certificate was hung right outside the bedroom. How did you even marry me? Kieran screeched. Raphael hummed, unbothered. Proxy marriage through Rosethorn's offshore office in Monaco. Your thumbprint was acquired with love, darling. You drugged me. Just a little bit. With affection. You're glowing when you're mad. The bonding, the biting, the betrayal, and cuddles. Kieran didn't know how it happened. He only remembered feeling dizzy one morning, Raphael gently wrapping his arms around him and murmuring, You'll never run from me again. Then the scent hit him. Raphael's scent, overwhelming, dominant, Enigma rich, and deeply possessive. Before Kieran could protest, Raphael marked him with a bite to the neck that felt less like an attack and more like a kiss made out of flame and thunder. The bond sank into his soul, and Kieran screamed into a pillow for 3 days straight. The consummation. I don't love you. Don't touch me. Stop. Keep going. It happened on the 7th night. Kieran had locked the bedroom door and declared, Don't come near me unless you want something broken. Raphael came in anyway, with a slice of strawberry tiramisu, a glass of warm milk, and soft eyes. You haven't eaten today. Kieran, still snarling, I'm not your baby. Stop spoiling me. You are my baby, Raphael said sincerely, placing the tray down, and I'll spoil you till the stars fall. Then he knelt by the bed, his head resting gently on Kieran's knee, as if he wasn't a mafia king but a lovesick fool. You're insane, Kieran muttered, eyes stinging with heat he didn't want to acknowledge. I've been insane since the moment I saw you bleed for a stranger, Raphael whispered. Now you're mine. Let me love you. Kieran stared. The tension in the room buzzed like static, thick with denial, want, resentment, and unspoken longing. Then, crack, the dam broke. He grabbed Raphael by the shirt, yanked him forward, and hissed, "Don't think this means I like you." "I won't," Raphael promised, already kissing him like a man finally drinking water after years in the desert. What followed was chaotic. Buttons flew, a vase shattered. Someone's designer pants got tangled in the chandelier. Kieran hissed insults between moans. Raphael apologized every time he marked him, only to do it again, over and over. Their bond throbbed, hot, possessive, soul deep. Kieran tried to resist until the moment Raphael kissed his hands and whispered, "You've always been mine. Let me show you." And for one breathless, burning night, Kieran stopped running. Love-sick Enigma chaos begins. Now officially mated and definitely consummated, Raphael switched into full-on lovesick puppy mode. Kieran couldn't walk 2 feet without bumping into Raphael, literally. He followed him everywhere. Bathroom? Yes. Garden walk? Yup. Mid-shower karaoke session where Kieran belted angsty love songs? You bet. "You're stalking me in our own house," Kieran snapped one morning. "It's called bonded husband rights," Raphael said cheerfully, holding 2 mugs of Kieran's favorite bitter black coffee, custom brewed at 88 degrees Celsius because anything else made him grumpy. At lunch, Kieran threw a vase when he discovered Raphael cuddling with an old worn sweater he didn't even remember throwing away. "That thing has holes in it." "It still smells like you," Raphael mumbled dreamily, refusing to let go. Later that day, the family butler arrived with a platinum gift box. "Master Raphael asked me to present you this, sir." Kieran opened it. Inside, a designer collar with a golden name tag that read, "Kieran Noir, mine forever." Kieran stood in silence. "Sir?" the butler asked. "Kieran, tell your boss I'm going to burn this entire mansion down." "Oh, he already had a fireproof replica made, just in case." Kieran stormed into the dining hall only to slam into the latest horror. A 30-foot oil painting of himself in soft white robes, holding a flower bouquet, surrounded by doves. The background sparkled like something out of a romance webtoon. Kieran's voice cracked. "I look like a royal bride. What the hell?" Raphael, standing proudly beside the frame. "You like it? It's called My Eternal Mate in Bloom. I'm working on a series. I'm going to scream. Let me get the microphone, my love." The moment of realization. Days turned into weeks. Kieran tried escape 23 times. Once by boat, Raphael dove in and carried him back. Once by helicopter, Raphael remotely crashed it into the sea, no injuries. Once by pretending to be dead, Raphael sobbed for 6 hours, built a shrine, and then offered to join him in the afterlife. Despite the madness, Kieran began to feel it. The warmth, the comfort, the safety, the way Raphael knew his moods without him saying a word. The gentle cups of tea during his migraines. The silent cuddles when Kieran refused to admit he was cold. But Kieran, being Kieran, said nothing. "I don't love him. I'm just tolerating him," with slightly less murder. 2 months later, Kieran woke up to the scent of eggs, flowers, and vomit. He barely made it to the sink before throwing up violently. Raphael broke the sound barrier getting to him. He practically broke a wall yelling, "Doctor, bring 3 or 10. 30 minutes later, Kieran sat wrapped in a silk robe, surrounded by 3 doctors and 4 medbots, with Raphael kneeling at his feet like a worried knight. Dr. 1 cleared his throat. "Mr. Noir is pregnant. Congratulations." The room fell silent. Raphael gasped like a princess in a Regency drama. "You mean our love has already bloomed?" Kieran choked. "I can't be. I'm an alpha." "Dr. 2, you're bonded to an Enigma. It's rare, but biologically plausible." Kieran turned to Raphael, eyes blazing. You did this on purpose." Raphael beamed. "You're nesting. We'll need 5 more rooms. This was a trap, It was destiny. You psychopathic golden retriever. Don't yell. Our baby can hear you. Raphael. Kieran. Chapter 3. You what? You baby-trapped me. When the doctors left and the whirlwind of congratulatory staff finally backed off, Kieran stood in the middle of the ridiculously massive bedroom, clutching a glass of water like it was the only thing keeping him from collapsing. He stared at the polished marble floor, jaw clenched. Then, he finally turned to Raphael, his voice dangerously soft. You baby-trapped me. Raphael blinked innocently from the velvet couch, holding a stuffed bunny that definitely wasn't his. I prefer the term destiny-assisted family planning. You, Kieran screamed, hurling the water glass at Raphael's head. Raphael dodged smoothly, the glass smashing behind him. I love when you're expressive, he cooed, eyes glowing with dangerous devotion. Kieran's breakdown, with style. I'm an alpha, Kieran yelled, pacing in tight circles. I'm not supposed to get pregnant. I'm not supposed to nest. I'm not supposed to… Ugh! You're bonded to an Enigma, Raphael said patiently, which biologically overrides those restrictions. Our bond is stronger than labels. Kieran stopped mid-pace. You're telling me you planned this? Raphael didn't even blink. Of course. Silence, then. You what? I've always intended for you to bear my heir. It's the ultimate expression of our bond. And love. And mutual obsession. Mutual? I was trying to arrest you. Exactly. I knew you cared. Kieran shrieked. Escape attempt #347. Later that afternoon, Kieran was caught trying to hijack one of Raphael's high-speed boats, wearing nothing but swim trunks, sunglasses, and pure rage. He almost made it 800 meters offshore, until a seaplane appeared out of nowhere, and Raphael parachuted out of it like a romantic villain. Put me down! I swear I will bite you! Kieran yelled, as Raphael carried him bridal style, soaking wet and very pregnant back to shore. Raphael whispered in his ear. You're glowing again. Escape attempt. #348. Helicopter hijinks. The next morning, Kieran attempted escape via helicopter disguised as one of the pilots. His cover was blown the moment he yelled, "Shut up and fly, nerd!" to the actual pilot. Raphael caught him mid-lift-off and sat him down gently on the helipad, tucking a blanket over his legs. You'll catch a cold. I will catch fire and burn you to ashes. You're so charming when flustered. Nesting nursery nightmares. When Kieran returned, dragged to the estate, he found his suite had been transformed. All the furniture was fluffy. The chairs were replaced with rounded, soft-edged cloud-looking cushions. There were padded rugs, gentle pastel lighting, and even a temperature-adjusting cuddle-pod bed. Raphael beamed. You're nesting. You need soft things. I need a lawyer, Kieran gritted. Already hired one. He's designing the nursery blueprints. What? Sure enough, in the next room was a fully decked-out nursery. Cream walls, lavender curtains, plush animal mobiles, and a faint calming scent of pine and sage, Kieran's favorite. Kieran pointed a trembling finger. You stalked me so much you designed a nursery in my favorite color palette? Raphael, not even guilty. Of course. I want our baby to feel like home from the very start. Kieran hissed. I hate how much you know about me. Chaos. Raphael's public affection problem. Everywhere they went, Raphael acted like a newlywed lunatic. At brunch with estate staff, the baby kicked today because he felt your anger, sweetheart. Guards stared. At the garden stroll, I think our baby likes it when you throw things. You're so expressive. The headmaid quietly took notes. In the hallway. Darling, should we paint the baby room ceiling with constellations of your birth chart? Kieran turned, expression blank. You need to be tranquilized. Mirror scene. The soft moment. That night, while Raphael slept curled around his bump like a warm vine, Kieran stood in the bathroom staring into the mirror. His hand slid over his stomach. Why do you know everything about me? He whispered, when I barely even know myself anymore. There was a flicker of vulnerability, a pause. A memory. Flashback. How Kieran fell first, but denied it. He remembered it now. Before the auction. Before everything. Late one night at a gala, years ago. A mysterious guest had helped him escape a pushy suitor by pretending to be his date. That man had dark eyes, quiet elegance, and a soft voice that made Kieran's heart skip. They danced once under the stars. He never even got his name. But that night, Kieran had dreamed of him. He never stopped wondering who he was. Even now, standing in Raphael's mansion, with all the chaos, with all the madness, Kieran whispered to himself, "So it was you." Back to present, the stalker reveal. The next morning, Kieran was half asleep when Raphael nuzzled into his neck and said, "I used to watch you from across rooftops. I know your coffee order from 5 years ago." Kieran opened one eye. "You were stalking me?" Raphael, relentlessly. Kieran sighed. "Why does this not even surprise me?" But deep inside, he was blushing fiercely. Because he had always felt someone watching him. And maybe, secretly, quietly, he liked it. But he was Kieran Rosethorn, menace, heir, and tsundere supreme. So he'd die before admitting it. Chapter 4. Cravings, Chaos, Coral Reef, Baby Showers. Kieran Vale Rosethorn, alpha heir, menace extraordinaire, and certified sarcasm addict, was currently sobbing over a mango. "I wanted it cold," he sniffled, holding the half-eaten fruit like it had betrayed him. "This one's lukewarm. Why does everything in my life go wrong?" Raphael appeared in 0.03 seconds, shirtless, barefoot, and looking like he ran through hell to get there. "I'll bring you 30 frozen ones, I swear. I'll fly to Brazil." Kieran hurled the mango at him. It splattered on the wall behind Raphael, who didn't even flinch. "I hate you," Kieran yelled. "I love you more," Raphael replied softly, walking toward him with slow, careful steps. "Even when you're throwing fruit at my face, especially then." Kieran hiccuped mid-glare. "Stop being cute. It's infuriating." Mood swings and mayhem. Later that day, Kieran demanded chocolate pancakes. Then promptly cried because Raphael added strawberries. "I don't even know what I want anymore," he sobbed into Raphael's shirt. "You want me," Raphael whispered into his hair. Kieran punched him in the gut, lightly. "I want to disappear. You can disappear into my arms." "Shut up." The surprise underwater. Baby shower. Raphael, being the most dangerously obsessed yet tender idiot alive, decided to plan a baby shower where? In Kieran's favorite coral reef, underwater, with diving suits, live mermaid performers, and a cake inside an air-sealed dome. When Kieran was blindfolded and taken there, his first response was, "If this is another kidnapping, you're getting stabbed." But the moment the blindfold came off and Kieran saw glowing reefs, dolphins with ribbons, and a banner that read, "You knocked me up, you psycho," courtesy of Kieran's previous outburst, he burst out laughing. He hadn't laughed like that in years. And Raphael? He just stood there looking hopelessly in love. Leaving the island, back to reality. After weeks of craving curing, tantrum soothing, and baby bump growing, it was time to return to civilization. Kieran didn't expect much. He'd been declared missing. The media would eat them alive. Sirt. What he didn't expect was Raphael landing his private jet like a warlord and stepping out, holding Kieran's hand like he was made of starlight and rage. The press crowded. Raphael stood in front of Kieran and smiled. A terrifying, chilling smile. The drama eruption, Enigma mode. Activated, reporters shouted. Cameras flashed. Questions flew like bullets. Where have you been? Who is that alpha with you? Mr. Noir, are the rumors true? Raphael raised a hand. Dead silence. Then he said, "Let me make this perfectly clear. This is my spouse, my mate, my pregnant alpha. Anyone who lays a finger on him, speaks against him, or even looks at him wrong, will meet the version of me that made the world fear the name Enigma Noir." The air turned electric. Everyone froze. Raphael's eyes glowed dangerously. You will bleed. You will burn. You will vanish. Kieran's jaw dropped. The crowd was stunned. Even the bodyguards looked like they wanted to run. Then Raphael turned and gently brushed Kieran's wind-blown hair behind his ear. Sweetheart, are you cold? Let me get your scarf. The switch in his voice was so soft it made everyone dizzy. Backlash and Kieran's reaction. Social media exploded. News anchors stammered. Some called Raphael dangerous. Others swooned. One reporter asked daringly, Kieran Rosethorn, are you safe with him? Kieran snorted. Safe? He has a damn rocket launcher system installed on his yacht. I haven't been this safe since the womb. Raphael purred. And now you're making another womb, full circle. Kieran, you did not just say that. Late night reflection. The crack appears. That night, back at Raphael's city mansion, Kieran stood at the balcony, hand on his belly. Raphael stood behind him, arms loosely around his waist. The city lights stretched beneath them. You really told the world you'd kill for me, Kieran murmured. I meant it. You're insane. Raphael kissed his neck. Insane for you. Kieran paused, voice low. You're insane, but I'm starting to hate that I don't want to leave. Chapter 5. Someone tried to kidnap me again, but this time he went berserk. The gala showdown. It was Kieran's worst nightmare, being back in the Lion's Den, aka the Rosethorn Gala, where his estranged, ultra-judgmental family sipped champagne and whispered with their knives out. He wore a sleek black suit that almost hid the swell of his baby bump. Almost. Because his belly chose this night to pop out like a diva, demanding center stage. As he tried to quietly sip his mocktail because alcohol banned, a distant cousin slithered up with a smile that screamed drama. Oh, darling, gained a bit of weight, have we? Kieran opened his mouth to verbally commit a homicide, but Raphael got there first. He was suddenly by Kieran's side in a flash of dark velvet and restrained murder. That's not weight, he said, voice dipped in danger. That's my child. The room fell dead silent. Then Raphael, ignoring every scandalized stare, knelt down and gently pressed a kiss to Kieran's belly. The gasp that went through the crowd was opera-worthy. Kieran's entire face turned the color of a ripe tomato. You lunatic, you didn't just... I did, Raphael grinned up at him. Because you're mine, and so is she. Kieran, she? We don't even know. Wait, we do. Raphael smiled. Oops. Kieran, you stalked my ultrasound, didn't you? Kidnap attempt. Full mafia mode. Weeks passed, the chaos cooled, until it didn't. One quiet evening, Kieran was reading a magazine in the garden, lounging in his usual chaos-free, heavily guarded zone. That's when he heard the all-too-familiar sneer. Long time no see, Kieran. It was Thorn Hale, his arrogant ex-suitor, the one who'd once proposed with a fake diamond and insulted Kieran's fashion sense. Now, apparently, he'd lost his mind and infiltrated the estate with 2 mercenaries. Thorn lunged to grab him. Kieran screamed, and that was all Raphael needed. In the next 30 seconds, chaos descended like a biblical plague. Raphael arrived barefoot, shirtless, glowing with that horrifying Enigma aura that made hardened criminals cry. With one deadly glare, he made one guard wet himself. With one step, the garden lights exploded. With one swing, Thorn was flat on the floor, arm dislocated, sobbing. You touched him, Raphael growled. You breathed near him. You even looked at him. His power surged, vines twisting from the garden walls, shadows snapping like claws. Kieran, still trembling, stared at him. And then, he laughed. A short, breathless sound, then a full snort. Because despite the blood, the danger, the sheer insanity, Raphael still looked at him with puppy eyes. As if Kieran had just stubbed his toe and needed a band-aid. Soft, stupid love. Later, in bed, wrapped in 10 blankets, Kieran found himself silently staring at Raphael. Raphael had cried, actually cried, after the incident. I could have lost you, he whispered brokenly. I've done unspeakable things, Kieran, but everything I have is already yours. I just wanted you to want me too. Kieran sighed, heart full of emotions he didn't know how to handle. So he kissed Raphael's cheek. Idiot, he mumbled. You really did all of this just for me, didn't you? Raphael nodded, dazed and drunk on affection. They lay together like that for hours. At some point, Kieran reached for Raphael's hand and placed it on his growing belly. I hate that I don't hate you anymore. I'll take that, Raphael grinned. The baby, the chaos, the family. Months later, after more pregnancy meltdowns, craving emergencies, and one incident where Raphael built a pillow fort the size of a car just to calm him, the baby arrived. A tiny girl, with Kieran's glare and Raphael's pout. They named her Morel Rosethorn Noir. She screamed like a warlord, hated naps, and had the entire mafia estate tiptoeing like terrified nannies. Raphael tried to wrap Morel in her blanket, badly. Kieran snatched her, rolled his eyes, and muttered, "Step aside before you swaddle her into a burrito." Raphael looked wounded. She likes my burrito cuddles. Morel wails aggressively. Kieran, sipping juice and burping his daughter, muttered, "You're lucky you're hot, and that I might love you." Raphael, starry-eyed, "You love me?" "I said might, don't push it." He kissed Raphael's cheek again anyway. And later, snuggled in bed, his baby asleep and his chaos of a husband spooning him tightly, Kieran whispered with a fond eye roll, "You're still crazy, but maybe I'll keep you." The end, or just the beginning. A menace alpha, a mafia husband, a baby with rage issues, and a life full of love, threats, and pancakes at midnight.